guys, my name is Attorney Waltrip, not the third. I'm with Disability Resolution PA, and that's my chair squeaking because I abuse chairs by sitting in them too much. Here's what you need to know. We're going to be going through an article from September 19, 2019. A lot of people have wanted to know about the Stop the Wait Act. Stop the Wait Act is like, stop having to have people wait for benefits to go ahead and kick in. I know other videos are like promoting information about this act and being like, whoa! It's amazing! Wow, look what just came out! It's been out since 2019. It actually was in the works before that. But anyways, let's do some re-education from these other channels that are obviously promoting things that are not always accurate. Here we go. We're going to be reading an article from 2019 specifically about it. They have more new information about it, but this is kind of your foundation on specifically what's going on. Here we go, right here. And this is from the website kc.senate.gov. Stop the Wait Act. Senator Casey and Rep. Doggett, or I don't know how to pronounce this name, author bill to eliminate the waiting period for Social Security disability benefits to begin. So remember, this is SSDI Title II Stop the Wait Act, okay, which is actually a good act, but it's like all these acts that these Democratic senators are coming out with, they all have a lot of the same stuff in them, which is frustrating to me because it's like, if they really wanted to, they could put this through. At any point, they control things. September 19, 2019. In 2017, more than 10,000 Americans died while waiting. Now, let me explain to you why that number is most likely not accurate. First and foremost, that number... okay, let me go through more of the thing, and then we'll go into why it's less accurate. Washington, D.C. Today, U.S. Senator Bob Casey, ranking member of the Senate Special Committee on Aging, along with U.S. Representative Lloyd Doggett, chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, Ways and Means Health Subcommittee, and House Budget Committee member, and U.S. Representative Brian Fitzpatrick introduced the Stop the Wait Act. After waiting months to qualify for coverage through Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, individuals with disabilities are faced to wait another 5 months to get a disability check and another 2 years to obtain health coverage through Medicare. Let's read that sentence again. After waiting months to qualify for coverage through Social Security Disability Insurance, individuals with disabilities are forced to wait another 5 months to get a disability check and another 2 months to obtain health coverage through Medicare. That is not an accurate statement, and here's why. The way it works is when you file for SSDI benefits, there's a 5-month waiting period, and you don't get paid on the month you're found disabled. So for these 5 months, right, that you are applying for disability benefits, SSDI, what happens is you don't get to collect back pay from any of those when you're found disabled. So the bottom line is, let's say you're found disabled on month 7. So the first 5 months don't count for back pay. The month in the middle, you get a back pay check, and then basically over here, the month that you're found disabled, month 7, you don't get paid on that. You can still seek to get retroactive benefits before those 5 months even ever began. What they're saying here is, after waiting months to qualify for coverage through Social Security Disability Insurance, individuals with disabilities are forced to wait another 5 months to get a disability check and another 2 years to obtain health coverage through Medicare. Okay, first and foremost, most people are not found disabled within 5 months. They're just not. They're not. Everything's super slow. It was slow before COVID. It almost always takes more than 5 months, right? Almost always. So the fastest I've ever done was 2 days. Next one was 2 weeks. But most people, it's more than 5 months, okay? So when they say, well, this person has to wait months, and then they got to wait another 5 months on top of that, that's inaccurate. That's not true. That's not how it works. The way it works is you file, and during those 5 to 6 months, you pretty much go through your initial filing adjudication. Because remember, it starts initial filing, reconsideration, ALJ hearings, appeals council, federal district court, circuit court, Supreme Court of the United States. So let me do it another way. You file, 5 months go by, 6, 7, okay, you're getting a decision, cool. What this act is really about is, at the end of the day, getting rid of that 5-month no pay option, which would essentially allow people to get back pay for those months in which they were waiting. That's what this is. But that sentence right there, that sentence is incorrect. That's wrong. That's not how it works. The Stop the Wait Act would eliminate these dangerous mandated waiting periods imposed on individuals with disabilities that harm their health by delaying critical health care. And I think what they're talking about here, because it said more, the other one they're talking about here is basically a 24-month waiting rule to get on Medicare. So let me just explain the way that works, because remember, politicians are not in the fields that they're making law about. You ever see politicians making laws about guns? And you're like, have they ever actually held a gun? And the answer is usually almost always no, from the Democrat side. From the Republican side, of course, they've held a gun, hence why they're so passionate about it, blah, 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 because they're part of it, they understand it. Whereas the other side, they're like, I won't dare hold a gun. It's against my religion. So, and they're allowed to do that. That's their freedom. That's their right. All right, the Stop the Wait Act would eliminate these dangers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, workers who have paid into the Social Security Disability Insurance Fund should not be denied their benefits at the time they need them the most. See, now this article isn't about denying them benefits. It's about the 5-month waiting rule and the 24-month waiting rule, and saying that because they have to wait, they're being denied their benefits. But we know now that most claims, when you file them, have to take that amount of time anyway. So all they're really denying them is essentially the potential of having 5 months worth of back pay, and they won't even do that. What they'll still do is they'll make it like SSI. They'll make the first month not count and the last month not count, because when you file, it's not usually a full month. Like you'll file on the 15th or the 20th or the 5th or whatever. So it's not a full month that you've been waiting, number one. Number two, all you'd be getting is essentially then 4 months in the beginning worth of back pay. That's how it would change. So the way this is, when they say workers have paid in the social, blah, 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 for many individuals living with, insurance funds should not be denied their benefits at the time they need them the most. So when they made that statement, Senator Corey Casey, that's a classic, I would call it a Democrat-like oriented emotional spin. The workers who have paid in the Social Security Disability Insurance Fund should not be denied their benefits at the time they need them the most. Well, they're not really being denied benefits because they've never had the benefit of receiving them. In fact, it was longer back in the day. Back in the day, it took 6 months because the federal government backed what the insurance companies were doing. So for SSDI benefits, it took 6 months, not 5 months. So the people have never actually had that right to go ahead and collect those 5 months. So right there, I don't know who wrote this. I'm sure it was somebody in the office of one of these senators, but there's a lot of issues with this. But, remember, once again, a practicing attorney in the field, directly working with this stuff and going to hearings every single week for the most part, and then these guys, For many individuals living with disabilities, these waiting periods can be deadly. We must eliminate this barrier to accessing necessary and often life-saving supports and ensure timely, equitable access to the health care. So what they're saying is, look, when people are really, really bad, this 5-month rule hurts them. Right? That's what they're saying here. This is what this all kind of comes down to. If you have to wait 5 months and you're dying, then basically you're being denied the benefits that you have a right to. You technically don't have a right to it because you've never had a right to it initially. In fact, it was worse in the very beginning. But what they're saying here is people who die within that period are not able to tap their benefits. Okay? Now, with that said, there are provisions like compassion allowance listings and things like that, but that's another video another time. This is a good idea. We need to get rid of the 5-month waiting rule. Don't get me wrong. And I know I'm picking apart what they wrote, but let's keep reading. For individuals with disabilities, the security that Social Security was intended to provide comes at a punishing and unnecessary cost. 2 full years without health insurance, said Congressman Doggett. Our effort eliminates these suffering periods, affording individuals with disabilities prompt access to Medicare. So that's true. Kinda. All right, so, and remember, these guys are giving you blanket statements because they know everybody's just going to click, yeah, I like this because they said that. This is kind of how it works. The way it works with SSDI benefits is that you can use retroactive benefits. So let's say that you file here, you're found disabled here. Well, you can get up to 17 months, maybe a little bit more with a non-mechanical application if you got a good judge, up to a little bit more than 17 months back in time. So if you can prove that you were disabled farther back in time, okay, then basically you get to claim those 5 months all the way over here as part of the retroactive benefits, and then you keep counting those months going forward. So in that instance, what you've done is you've moved your protective filing date from here all the way, in your alleged onset date, all the way back to here, which means that the clock started turning all the way back here, which means that you don't technically from your filing date have to wait 24 months. You can, set your alleged onset date back here if you can prove that you were severely disabled back then. So this blanket statement for individuals with disabilities, say, blah, 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 2 full years without health insurance. It's not always 2 full years without health insurance. That's why with SSDI benefits, they have what's called retroactive benefits. Before you file, you're found disabled. Retroactive benefits, back pay benefits, forward pay benefits. Okay. Benefits due to you from before you filed that are kind of like counted like back pay benefits. Back pay benefits while you're waiting to be found disabled and have already filed. Forward pay benefits, you get a check every month. Everybody knows what those are. Individuals with disabilities should not face an onerous waiting period of the Social Security benefits they earn, said Congressman Fitzpatrick. Improving access to health care is vitally important, and I'm proud to support this bipartisan legislation to give Americans the care they need in a proper time frame. Yeah, this is a good idea. Republicans and Democrats should be on board with this. Why hasn't it been submitted? It should be on the floor. It should have been on the floor in 2019. Social Security disability insurance is a lifeline for individuals who can't work because they are too sick, said Senator Brown. This legislation eliminates unnecessary red tape that leads to gaps in healthcare coverage and ensures Americans don't lose access to benefits they have earned. There's another thing, too, though, and I want to make this clear. When you are in an SSDI situation where, because remember, you still got to pay for Medicare. You still have to pay for a part of it. Like, it's not free. It's not like SSI and Medicaid. Medicaid is, like, free. Medicare, you still got to pay a little bit. The problem here is that a lot of people are thinking, if I can't get Medicare, what do I do? You go to the marketplace and just get insurance through that. That's what they do. That's what you do. You pay a little bit more, but you're getting insurance. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's no other option. So a lot of people who are sitting there being like, there's no other option. There is. You just go to the marketplace. And if I seem like I'm like a little bit like, because these articles tend to be very one-sided. They tend to be like, how do we promote this in a way that makes it definitive, that everybody will agree with exactly what we're saying? And it's true what they're saying for the most part. There are parts that are not true. But my point is, they're not sharing with the American people how the system really works. And maybe that's how politics work. You just kind of show one side and you shove that side into, you know, the front light of the stage to have everybody see it. And maybe that's just how it works. Maybe I just need to become more accepting of that. In 2017, more than 10,000 Americans died while waiting for SSDI benefits to begin. The wait times greatly affect adults with rapidly progressing diseases such as Huntington's disease, cancer, cystic fibrosis, and other conditions. The most important one they didn't even put on here. The most important one is where an individual gets into a car accident. And the SSA then reaches out and says, well, we want to wait and see how they're going to improve. They do it all the time. Probably something that is more heinous than this 5-month wait period is somebody who gets in a horrific car accident and the Social Security Administration says, we're going to wait and see. And then 9 months down the line, they check back in. Somebody gets into a car accident. We don't know if they're going to live or die. There's a 5-month waiting period. Now, if they're in a really bad situation, their life changes completely, right? The whole where you're going to live changes, what's going to happen with your dog changes, all that stuff. They're living in a hospital room for a very long time. So that is probably even more so than these diseases, one that is extremely commonplace, that is absolutely out of nowhere. Absolutely out of nowhere. So in that regard, I think that they missed an opportunity in here to put in that, because there's the problem with it that these other cystic fibrosis, cancer, Huntington's disease share. But then there's an additional thing on top of that, which is that the Social Security Administration, when adjudicating the DDS claims, or adjudicating the SSDI claims through essentially DDS, because that's where you're going at the initial stage anyways for the initial filing at the local field office, they will come out and say, you know what, we're going to wait and see, 5 months down the line, 6 months down the line, where you're at. We'll check back in with you during our application. And that is a hidden waiting period that needs to be in this bill and banned for being unethical, banned for being completely and utterly immoral. I mean, you think some of the stuff that happened in the Star Wars franchise was bad? You should see one of those where the person dies as a result of a wait and see. American workers who have developed a disability may be eligible. And that's another thing again. You're not going to know that unless you're in the field. And these guys are not in the field. American workers who have developed a disability may be eligible for Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, a benefit financed by employer payroll taxes. SSDI requires an application determination period that can last more than 18 months. as well as mandated 5 months to obtain a disability payment, and an additional mandated 24 months to receive Medicare benefits. The Stop the Wait Act aims to remove these unnecessary and onerous requirements by. So they just summarized all of this. So this was all quotes of selling you on statements that senators and House reps made. And all of this was completely unnecessary because right here, they summarized it. This is right here is everything that was actually pretty much more straightforward than all of this emotional yada yada that they put here. They should have put this at the very top. When you write things, you summarize what they're going to do at the top, and you conclude as to why they're great at the bottom. Requiring the Social Security Administration to begin payment to an individual eligible for SSDI immediately after they are determined to be eligible for the program, rather than requiring the individual to wait 5 months to begin receiving benefits. Great. Good. Yes. Phasing out the 24-month waiting period for Medicare disability benefits. Why did you put phasing out there? Why can't we just get rid of it? Directing the National Academy of Medicine to conduct a study to ensure the elimination of the waiting periods are resulting in better health and community living outcomes for eligible SSDI recipients and their families. What? Directing the National Academy of Medicine to conduct a study to ensure elimination of the waiting periods are resulting in better health and community living outcomes for eligible SSDI recipients and their families? Why would you away money like that? You don't need a study to tell you that a 5-month waiting rule is harmful to people. You just quoted a bunch of things that were partially accurate, not fully, where you were saying how amazing and wonderful and simple it is to see that you essentially shouldn't have a 5-month waiting period. But now you want to do a study to ensure it? Maybe you're doing a study as a form of insurance to go ahead and make sure that other politicians can't question it. The Social Security Administration, through legislators, couldn't potentially bring it back. Maybe that's the purpose of it. A very good thing. A very good thing. But if you need it for your own edification to see if that's going to be a good thing to help people, then there's a problem. There's a problem with your logical analysis. This legislation is endorsed by a number of the patient advocacy groups and other organizations, including blah, 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 blah. A bunch of them. Okay? All great. Looks like some nonprofits in there. Excellent. Very, very good. Good. There they are. Now, why do we want to get rid of the 5-month waiting rule? That was from the senator's website. Now let me tell you the actual reasoning. Number one, it's unfair. You paid into the system. You deserve each month of back pay that they force you to wait to be found disabled when found disabled. Number two, the whole system was based off of essentially cheating people out of that additional money so that they could go and calculate your IRS-based earnings and figure out the whole medical timeline as to where'd you become severe, right? It's buying the SSA time to do administrative tasks, but you already paid for that, so you should be able to receive it. Number three, what this article is more so about, people die during that period. They get sick. They're not able to go ahead and tap the benefits for the first 5 months plus the month that they're found disabled, so it's actually 6 months. And they can't buy that big screen TV in their last days because if they get so sick that they're going to die within essentially 6 months, guess what? They can't get their benefits. Are there people that die within 6 months? There's people that die within 2 days. Yes. 4. It is interesting to see why the government followed originally the structure of the insurance companies, which are in existence to take as much money away from the program that you bought into. That's their purpose. Insurance companies sell the whole, in case something bad happens one day, we're there for you. But you could reshape that to, we're going to take your money now so that when it gets really bad, we'll give you some of it back, maybe more. But you have to fit into the elemental provisions that we've created in this contract that we've made over an extended period of time, and we have mastered now to the point in which you are unlikely to collect anything worthwhile. That's another way of putting it. And so the problem inherent in this whole shenanigan of systems is that you end up with basically a system that's already paid for by the people, that the people should be able to access because they die quicker than 6 months. That people should be able to access because it's the ethical thing to do to give people essentially peace of mind when they become financially incapable of paying for things due to a vocational inability to continue to work. These are fundamental. And by the way, that article was not great. And that wasn't an article. That was just a website like Senate thing. But that article was not great. They should have at the very top of it said, people die from these types of medical conditions, usually within 6 months. Those people cannot collect their SSDI benefits during that time in which they're dying. Therefore, we should get rid of this whole rule, essentially about limiting people's abilities to collect SSDI-based monies within the first 5 months and the month in which they're found disabled, totaling 6 months. All right. My name is Attorney Walter Not the Third. I'm with Disability Resolution PA. If you want to catch up with me, 8 to 10 every Thursday, Eastern Standard Time, I go live on YouTube. That's when I donate my time to you guys for YouTube stuff. But YouTube stuff is not my real job. So if you're like, hey, I got to call you with a question, when are we getting the benefits? Don't call me from 9 to 5. 9 to 5, I work at a law firm obtaining disability benefits for people. Don't call me then. If you want to ask me about that stuff, that's fine. But the YouTube stuff, where I just help people in general because apparently I'm allergic to trying to figure out how to earn enough money to pay off my student loans, that would be 8 to 10 every Thursday. You can call me then. All right. Thanks so much. I will catch you a little bit later. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to do the things that YouTube told me to do. Like, subscribe, and leave 5-star reviews and thumbs up. Whatever. Anyways, I'll catch you later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.